guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope this video finds you well. I hope you are happy and healthy and staying safe, washing your hands and wearing your mask. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. This has nothing to do with anything hospitality related or me giving advice. This video is just for entertainment purposes. This story is pretty entertaining, I will say that. This is about the time that I had plastic surgery when I was 14 years old. And no, that is not clickbait. I have the receipts. I will show them to you later in this video. But, you know, looking back on the situation when this happened to me, it was just really weird and really bizarre. And just in case people actually see this video and comment on this video and, you know, whatever, I want to know if this has ever happened to anyone else, because at the time, like I said, it was just a really bizarre, weird thing that happened, and I had never heard of anyone else, like, who this had happened to. But I'm pretty sure out there someone has had this same experience, and in case, like I said, anyone watches this video and maybe has any type of explanation as to why this happened to them, and probably the same thing to me, yeah, like I said, let me know, because here I am. Like I said, this was when I was 14. And I'm 22 now, and I still look back on this situation and I'm just like, it was so weird and so bizarre. But without getting too much into it, without spoiling anything, let's go ahead and get into the story. So just as a little disclaimer, I just want to say that my experience is not everyone else's experience, and don't let this story stop you from having a piercing. I have since gotten my ears re-pierced, and you know, I wear earrings now and I think they're cool and whatever, but yeah, this story is definitely like a more, this is not usually the case is what I'm trying to say, I guess. But as a little bit of backstory, when I was a baby, my parents chose to not get my ears pierced. I think they were just afraid that I would maybe rip them out or something, or, you know, as a baby, I feel like they felt like it would have been hard to, like, make sure they were, like, properly cleaning them and, you know, whatever, and babies are, like, so delicate and gentle already. Obviously, I'm not a parent, so I don't judge anyone who chooses to get their baby's ears pierced when they are a baby, but personally, my parents just chose not to, and that's the situation, and that's how it was. But when I was 13 years old, I decided to finally get my ears pierced. Growing up, and I'm still this way, I was never really the type of person, like, I'm not super into jewelry, so I never really felt a need or a want to get my ears pierced before this. But like I said, when I was 13, I think this was like 2012 at this time, so, you know, the feather earrings were like really a thing, and I think I wanted some of those, so I decided to get my ears pierced, and I went to my local mall, and I went to Claire's, and sat down in the chair. My dad signed the paperwork and whatever. We picked out some cute little pink studs, and yeah, I got them pierced. So a little bit of backstory again. The woman who pierced my ears, she let us know right off the bat, which I appreciate her honesty, that this was her second day of working there. And it just so happened, very unfortunately, that she had pierced my ear, like, super low. You can see where my hole is now, but it was, like, lower than that. This one was totally fine, but they looked visibly uneven, which was just really unfortunate, but that's just my luck, I guess. It wasn't, like, painful or anything like that. Like I said, if you are watching this video and you just so happen to not have your ears pierced and you want to get them pierced, I'm not trying to talk bad about Claire's, because that's where I got mine done the second time and it was totally fine. It really just depends on who pierces your ears and whatever. But yeah, it just so happened that they were, like, visibly uneven, but I think at that point I was kind of done. Like, the first time I feel like it hurt more than it did the second time, like, that's for sure. So I wasn't trying to, like, get it re-pierced, and I don't even know if that's possible, if you can even do that. And it didn't bother me a lot, and I feel like when it was first done, it wasn't as visibly noticeable as, like, it was when time went on, if that makes sense. Like, when I very first got them done, yes, they were uneven, and you could tell, but as time went on, I feel like you could just tell more and more that it was like very unaesthetically pleasing, if that makes sense. But I still took proper care of them. They give you a big old bottle of solution to put on a cotton ball or pad or whatever, and you soak your ear with them, the front and the back, morning and night, and you're also supposed to make sure you're twisting them and like moving them back and forth and taking the back off and putting it back on, and just making sure that it heals properly. And in the beginning, I will say I was very good about doing that. My parents were very on top of me to make sure that I was doing that because they didn't want it to get infected, obviously. And like I said, in the beginning, it went very well. So something about me, I guess a toxic trait that I have, is I don't work well with like routines and like regimented routines. So as time went on, I just kind of started to take care of them, like less and less, and I stopped like twisting them. I was only putting the solution on like once a day, and I just wasn't taking the proper care that they needed to heal properly. So as a result of that, my earlobe started to get infected. Obviously, that's what's going to happen if you're not taking proper care of your piercing. It's like a foreign body, like in your body, that like I feel like your skin would just naturally like want to like heal it and attack it if you're like not taking proper care of it. So my ear had started to puff up and swell, and it started to get really painful. I couldn't sleep on this side, and you know, it's funny because I feel like it's this one, but just in case I'm wrong, it was one of my ears, okay? But yeah, I couldn't sleep on the side where it was infected, and like it was very, very sensitive to the touch. So I called my doctor and I set up an appointment with her, and she looked at it and she confirmed that it was indeed infected, and she gave me like an ointment to like try to help with the infection, and she also said like please just make sure that you start like really taking care of it because it's like it could get worse, and this is like not good already. So like I said, at first I was really good about putting on the ointment, and then kind of fell off of that as well. And one day I had gotten in the car with my mom, and I put my seatbelt on, and I had noticed that the front of my earring had gotten stuck on the seatbelt, and it just like, it literally ripped out. And so like the front was completely gone out in my hand. So then I like was checking my clothes to try to find the back of it, because I just assumed it had fallen like into my hoodie or onto the seat, but I couldn't find it anywhere. And I went to like touch my ear, and I had seen that, this is hard to explain, but it was a butterfly back, which I'll insert a picture of a butterfly back in case you don't know what it looks like. Okay, so this is what they look like. Sorry, this is a janky ass picture, but mine was pointier, if that makes sense. But yeah, like I said, it was a butterfly back, and the only thing that was visible in my ear was the end part, like the pointy part, like the piece that looks like this. My ear had literally, the back of my ear had grown, like the skin had like engulfed the earring back, and the only thing that you could see was the like pointy part that sticks out. And I was like, I had not realized that it had gotten that bad. And like I said, I was 13 years old. It was not my parents' responsibility to check up on me or check up that it was like healing and I was, you know, taking care of it. Like I said, it was my responsibility. So I had just not noticed that my ear had started to swallow the earring back. And when I noticed that, I was like, oh man, I messed up. So really the only thing I could do from that point on was just try to take the piece that I could get of my earring back and try to pull it through, like the piece that was like this, try to pull that through the hole, and then just try to, like, I would just let it close up from that point and then eventually get it re-pierced. That was what was kind of going through my head at the time. So I tried numbing it with ice and pulling it myself. I couldn't do it. It was really painful. And so I tried having my dad do it, but I mean, he would pull on it and you could just see blood like running down like my neck. Like, it was super bad, and obviously he didn't want to like inflict that type of pain on me. So, I mean, we really tried everything we could, and like, we just couldn't get it through. So then we weren't exactly sure what to do. I called my doctor and set up another appointment, but it wasn't for like a month or something. I wasn't able to get in for like a month. And during that 1 month period, my family had actually gone to Reno. I don't remember for what reason, but I remember being in Reno and eating lunch at like a little cafe, and all of a sudden I was just like, I like had an itch or something like in the back of my neck, so I went to itch it, and all of a sudden I felt a big old bump on my neck, like down here. It was kind of like behind my ear, between my ear and my hairline, and it was a big old bump, and I was just like, what the heck is that? And I started getting really concerned because I feel like most of the time bumps are never like a good thing, and my grandma was a nurse for many years, so I had her look at it, and I was like, what the heck do you think this is? This is the first time I've ever noticed it, and like no one knew, and it kind of felt like a bee sting, honestly. Like I said, it was sensitive to the touch, but it didn't like really bother me that much. I just thought it was weird, so I was like, you know what, I'm already going into the doctor, I'll just have her look at it when I go in like a few weeks. And so I just tried to ignore it and whatever, and eventually, like I said, this was years ago, so I don't remember how long it took for it to go away, but it eventually did go away. But when I finally did get into the doctor, she looked at it and she was pressing on it, and like I said, it hurt to like have it like squoze. So she was like, yeah, honestly, like there's nothing really that I can personally do. I'm gonna give you a referral to the plastic surgery department, and from there you can set up a consultation with the doctor and you can kind of figure out what to do from there. But like, I don't perform any type of surgery, so you're gonna have to go to them. So I was like, oh man, like this is not what I wanted to happen. Like, my parents really like got to say I told you so, because they trusted me to take care of my piercing, and at the end of the day I didn't do it. So I was like, man, that sucks. So I just was forced to wait even more until I was finally able to get into my consultation appointment. So eventually it came time for me to go to my consultation, and the doctor pretty much looked at my ear and was like, okay, well, you think this is happening? And when he very first was pressing on it, he was like, it's weird because, you know, obviously I'm gonna believe you because you're telling me that, you know, you were never able to get your earring back out, so where else could it go? But he was like, I don't feel like there's anything in there. I was like, well, obviously it's in there because I never got it out and the front came out, but like I literally saw with my two eyes the back getting engulfed like by my own skin. So he's like, okay, well, we'll go ahead and schedule your surgery. And I remember I got picked up early. Well, I got to leave school early to go to my surgery. It was May 2nd, 2013. Obviously, like I said, that made me 14. And I remember going to the room and laying on my side, and they were like, well, we don't like need to anesthetize you for this. We're just gonna use like basically the same thing that they would use at the dentist. So I laid on my side and got a lovely, like 4 shots to the neck and then a shot in the back of my ear to make everything numb so I wouldn't feel anything. And then they started going. They're like, what type of music do you want to listen to? And they literally made like a Hannah Montana playlist for me, even though I was like 14. It's like, yeah, it's cool. And they let my mom be in the room. And they cut my ear open and were digging and digging. And they never found the earring back. So to this day, here I am, 8 years later, literally 8 years later, I have no idea what happened to that earring back. It was gold. I remember it was like solid gold. So I don't know if your body is able to dissolve gold or like metals like that, or if that bump was my earring back like somehow like traveling. I don't know if any of this makes sense, or what. This is all just like me speculating, and I don't have any type of medical background whatsoever, but to this day, 8 years later, I have no idea what happened to it. I feel bad because that surgery ended up costing my mom and dad $3,000, and they didn't even get anything out of it when they were really concerned about this. But like I said, I have no idea to this day whatever came of that. So if you have any type of idea, like I said, let me know in the comments, or if this has ever happened to you, let me know. But I will say that this story does make for a great 2 truths and 1 lie type of thing, because I always tell people, I had plastic surgery when I was 14, and they're like, no, that's a lie. I'm like, no, it's not, it's real. Of course it was on my ear, but it was just a really strange and bizarre experience, and definitely something I'll never forget, and it's a great conversation starter. So yeah, I think that is it though for this video. If you guys have any type of video requests, like I always say in my videos, leave them down below and I would love to film them for you. I've been having a lot of fun filming these videos, and yeah, if you have any requests, like I said, leave them below. If not, I'm gonna go ahead and go, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye! Okay, so here's the receipts. You can see my puffy ass ear and the bandages.